Okay, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the VE Day week for scouting at 9th Ormskirk. Hope you're all enjoying the new website look. That's been very busy, putting on all your photos that you were sending. If you haven't sent any in yet, get some put in. She's got a mega spreadsheet full of all the stuff that you've been sending off. So if you want some badges at the end of this, get these photos sent in. Right, we're ready to begin? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Who are we?
We are beavers, can't you see? B-E-A-V-E-R-S, beavers.
You.
I promise to do my best to be kind and helpful and to love God.
Jolly good.
Kayla will do our best.
Cubs, do your best.
We will do our best.
Better. Outstanding! That's like you haven't practiced all week doing that. That's pretty good. So good, you can do the news. Go on, tell everyone what we're doing this week. Okay. Should we just put the subtitles on? This week I'm interviewing somebody about VE Day. This week we're going to ask questions.
We're going to ask questions
About from somebody
from somebody
who was at the first VE Day.
who was at the first VE Day.
Brilliant. Run VT.
Which scout group were you in?
I was in the 19th Liverpool City Scout Troop, which belonged to my school in Liverpool.
I would join Cubs in June 1945.
Okay. What did you do as a scout in the war?
We went to school normally and attended our meetings on the Saturday when we went on adventures. In addition, we got instructed in being able to run messages over the city to the government departments outside Liverpool, because telephones would be destroyed. Another activity we were taught was relating to firefighting. We were taught how to lay out a hose pipe and attach it to other hose pipes, and how to open up the fire hydrants in the street. During the Blitz, that is, when the bombs were being dropped on Liverpool, the scouts had to provide for our school and our girls' school firefighting services all through the night. This meant staying back at school with a sleeping bag, whatever, and waiting for the incendiary bombs to be dropped.
What was it like being evacuated?
At 8 o'clock on the 4th of September, we all assembled at a railway station, and within 4 hours we were in a small town called Holywell, and there we were taken to a lady who said she'd look after us, and we stayed there the idea was that there would be no bombing of the small town of Greenfield, and we went to school in the normal way there. We went to the local cinema on a Saturday morning. We were trained a year beforehand that if we were to be evacuated and the train was attacked and set on fire, we had to run away from the train, hide ourselves in the trees, and wait until the attack was finished. When it was, we had to reassemble, climb aboard the train, and carry on.
I was evacuated at the age of 3, I think, privately to North Wales with my brother and my cousin, rich cousin, whose father arranged it. We stayed on a farm in Bodfarry, which is a village still there. And that's about as much as I remember. My brother was 2 years older. He went to school. Normal, as it is now. Big classes, 40 odd in a class. Corporal punishment was rife, ruler on the arm, even at the age of 5. I can remember lessons on the beach in the summer. The school was near to the beach, and we used to watch the Spitfires flying over.
Oh, school was fine in that we went there every morning at 9 o'clock and went home at 4 o'clock. We got our homework and we had plenty of lessons. We had school dinners, which were good, but we did have to have some female mistresses, and they were always referred to as sir, as we were not allowed to regard them as being anything other than the masters who had gone away. We had to carry our gas mask everywhere we went. When you reach the age of about 14 or younger, you were taught how to clean a rifle, handle a rifle, even fire it with .22 ammunition. This was, of course, on the basis that one day we would be 14, 15, 16, and maybe needed for firing in a real invasion.
What did you get to play with your friends during the war?
Well, playing with your friends wasn't too easy. We played football. We really had to stay in most evenings for homework, and the fact that there was this blackout, which meant that no street lights were on. Most boys had either Hornby train sets or Meccano sets, and that seemed to take up their activity time during the spare time.
What did your parents do during the war?
Father was in a reserved occupation as a ship repairer. Hello, Michael. Working down on the docks, often for 24 hours at a stretch. With, of course, the other thing I can remember is the blackout. There were no lights allowed, and he used to cycle 4 miles to work, presumably 5 miles, working on the docks. Often, if they had ships in for repair, they would virtually work, as I say, for 24 hours until they were finished. Mother was a housewife.
My father was the owner of a grocer's shop and was therefore entitled to stay looking after the shop. But also, he'd been in the First World War and he'd fought in the big battles in France, and had therefore was exempt. But my mother just stayed at home and looked after the home. My father, as an addition to his duties, was also an ambulance driver. In those days, not a lot of people could drive motor cars. Father looked after the air raid shelter in a way, which under our shop, as this provided accommodation for 110 people.
What was rationing?
Now, every person in the country was issued with a ration book. These goods were mainly the tea, sugar, butter, jam, all the essentials of life. And everybody was entitled to so many ounces of, say, tea, sugar, etc., etc. Now you registered with a grocer, and he was under an obligation to make sure that you would get your ration of food, provided you paid for it. So this system was started right at the beginning of the war and continued right on for another 8 years in all.
So you couldn't buy 200 loo rolls and empty the...
No, you were severely rationed. Well, in fact, we used newspaper cut up. You were severely rationed, or the best was the wrappings on the oranges, the tissue paper. They were always saved and used. We used a lot of powdered stuff. Powdered egg was very, very commonly used, and powdered milk.
What did you do during the Blitz?
In the air raid shelter, there was about 110 people, and it became rather like a social club. Some people would prefer to stay in their own backyard, but some people found that lonely. Some of them did their homework. In fact, most of them did their homework there. People talked, people played cards. Letter writing was very common, and everybody always seemed to be writing letters.
Well, we had our own air raid shelter in the back garden, known as an Anderson shelter, which had 4 bunks, which was corrugated iron, half dug into the ground, corrugated iron sheet backed over with the earth that had been dug out, and you sort of went down a couple of steps in. But one of my memories is being carried out when the air raid signal went, was we were picked up from our beds and half asleep and taken down into the air raid shelter, where we slept till the morning. And to be honest, I don't remember being frightened. I don't remember or anything of that. I can picture coming out and all the windows in the house had been shattered by bomb blast. 2 houses were destroyed within 50 yards of our house.
What did you do on PE, guys?
I think we had a street party. We lived on an estate, quite an enclosed estate. The whole street the whole area was lined with tables, and we all sat down, and I've been searching for a picture I've got of it, but I can't find it. So that's all I can remember for that. I was only 8 when the war ended.
We were told on the radio that Germany was about to end the war, and at about 8:15 in the evening, the BBC came on and said the German government has now surrendered completely, and everybody is no longer at war with anybody. So I finished off my music practice. I could see that people were out in the road. So I went along to Elmhall Drive Youth Club, which was the youth club I went into. The next day had been declared on the radio and everything. that it would be a rest day. And so everything was closed down on the DE day. And really, I suppose, to the park, because there's nothing much to do. And most people were just very glad to have got it all finished with.
What was the best thing about the end of the war?
Well, the end of the war was marvellous in that I knew then that I would not be called up to go fighting in Germany, as I would have been in the next big battle if it had gone on, we say, for another 2 years. So the best thing was the end of killing. But then there was a massive victory played in London. About 40 or 50,000 British troops eventually were brought in from all over, the Americans, the Canadians, the New Zealanders, the Greeks, the French, were all in the march past. We went to the Mall, where we saw it all laid out. We stood in various places, seeing all the troops marching past. The wonderful sights of, we say, the Gurkhas with their lances and their horses. And the Canadian mounted police were also there. And everybody who'd fought in the war on the winning side took place. Churchill was there, a couple of other big people were there. And on the whole, it went off. The weather was good. So it really was a great sight.
I suppose the lack of, well, no, the bombing, I was going to say the fear of bombing was no longer there, but that had disappeared quite a while before. There wasn't a great deal of difference. Rationing was still in operation. There's a great deal of uncertainty, but other than that, I didn't notice an appreciable difference.
What sweets could you get in the war? Could you get fudge and chocolate mice?
None. We used to like sugar butties. We seemed to, well, we had friends who didn't use sugar, so they gave us their ration of sugar and jam. They were open, but of course, licensing hours were far less than they were now, because my granddad, we used to spend our Christmases in the pub. My granddad managed a pub at Threlfall's. He was a Threlfall's manager just by Everton football ground, which is why we're all Evertonians. So the pubs were open. All right, Bob. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, hope you found that interesting. Thanks for those that sent in the questions. Right, knot of the week this week is the friendship knot, also known as the I forgot my woggle knot, because that's what people tie in their neckerchiefs when they lose their woggles. So, let's have a look at this. 2 pieces of rope. We sort of tie them together. It's not a particularly tight knot, but it's a neat and pretty one. So, we get a rope. We fold one end over, like that, and you fold this end over. Now leave a bit of a loop. Are you zooming in on this? And fold that like a big loop around, and take this end over the top and through. So you end up with that nice, neat square shape. And it's really good if you do forget your neckerchief or lose your woggle. Sorry, if you lose your woggle or your neckerchief. So, doing it again. Is this in picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
So fold one bit over, sorry, top left. Start with your right, fold it over and then back with a little bit. Now do the same with the left, fold it under and in between the two and then over. But don't do it too tight because you need to leave a little loop here. So when this folds over the top, drop it down and it looks modicumly neat. Not as neat as if you'd remembered and not lost your woggle. You gonna try that?
No,
Why not?
because I've got your woggle.
Fair enough. Okay, next thing. It is, of course, VE Day on Friday. So, I hope you've all... One of the big things on VE Day and traditional British street parties is bunting. Strung from every place imaginable. So, let's make some bunting. Have you made any bunting yet?
Yes.
No, we're filming this as if we hadn't done the filming yesterday. So the
Oh,
answer is no.
yeah.
Have you made any bunting yesterday?
Oh,
Yet?
no.
No. Right, let's go and make some bunting. Is there anything you need to be wearing for continuity?
What?
Glasses.
Oh, yeah. Whoopsie doopsie doo.
Let's see if my woggle magically reappears. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Why are you wearing sunglasses?
I like love hearts on my glasses.
Strange boy. Right. Part of VE Day, famed British street parties, the one definite requirement, no matter what, is bunting. So whilst eBay and Amazon might be overwhelmed and not be able to get you any, you can always make some. So, on the website, I've put on a couple of templates for colouring in, and you could always just use blank ones to draw your own. So what we've got here, ooh, in good Blue Peter fashion, is one that Michael has started already. Are you going to finish that one off? Go on, you finish that off. So we just need to cut that out. You got the scissors?
Please, can you do this? My hands are all...
Tired? No, go on. Are you sure? Go on, you hold it. Do you want to do it? Or...
no.
Go on, you hold it then. You hold the camera. Okay, so we'll cut it out. Oh, the wind's blowing everything away. So we've got our thing. So if we make a fold on the back like that, and there's our pennant ready to hang on a string. So we got some string measured exactly the right distance to fit across whatever gap. Just let it go.
Did I put my chair on it?
No, that's all right. Just let it go.
Let
Ooh,
it go.
What's the joke of the week?
Why shouldn't you give Elsa a balloon?
I don't know. Why shouldn't you give Elsa a balloon?
Because she'll let it go, let it go.
Ah, terrible. So, ways to attach the pennant to the string. You could use glue, sellotape, or staples,
Or
whichever
just-
one you've
Or
got.
just use some scissors to make 2 holes in it and then put it in.
Well, if we use a bit of glue, clunk, lay it across, give it a bit of space for tying it up. And there we are. So there's the first one. If it doesn't, let's stick that on, put something to help keep it down. That will do. Right, and then we can do some more. Here's a Scouty one. And then you make them until you've got them all across and stick them up. So make some out, tie them up, and send us in a picture of what you've done. Are you going to carry on doing that? Fair enough. Right, next job then. Back to the hut. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're back. So, get making your bunting, get it strung up on your house, have some traditional jam sandwiches for your VE Day party. Keep socially distant from your neighbours.
Why do you need jam sandwiches?
Because that was the tradition, because they had nothing else to put in sandwiches but jam.
A very weird thing.
Yeah. Next week, Scouts. Net is Skip, or our glorious leader, is trying to work out how on earth he's going to Zoom and to actually try a face-to-face meeting with as many as we can. So we'll have a go. We look at your emails. We might have a go at that. And what am I doing next week on the next video? I have no idea, but I'll think of something. Ready? Hands together, eyes closed. Thank you, Jesus, for this day, for my food and for my play. Now my evening thanks I bring for beaver friends and everything. Amen. You.
I promise to do my best to be kind and helpful and to love God.
Very good. Take the flag down. Very good. Troop, dismiss. Good night all, and have a safe and fun weekend.
And also, GoPro stop recording.